Hello and welcome everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a story that has all the elements of a political thriller. Drama, accusations, last-minute pullouts, and a prestigious institution caught right in the middle. We're talking about the highly anticipated debate at the Oxford Union that was supposed to happen on November 27th, which unfortunately descended into what one Indian speaker called a complete farce. So, what really happened? Let's unpack this incredible series of events. The motion for the debate was a provocative one. This House believes that India's response to Pakistan as a populist strategy sold as security policy. It was set to be a major intellectual showdown. On one side, representing India, and on the other, representing Pakistan. But just hours before it was scheduled to begin, the entire event imploded, leading to a war of words on social media that's still raging. Let's start with the Indian side's perspective. Primarily voiced by Sai Deepak, a prominent lawyer who was slated to speak for India. According to his detailed account on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, this was a deliberate Pakistani gambit to avoid confrontation. His narrative paints a picture of chaos and what he suggests was intentional sabotage from the very beginning. Deepak pointed out that the Oxford Union itself had key positions held by individuals with Pakistani connections. He specifically named Musa Hari, the union's president, who he alleged is the son of Pakistan's Minister of Defense Production, and Raza Nazar, the treasurer. This set a backdrop of potential bias, at least in Deepak's view. But the problems started even before the day of the debate. The original high-profile speakers for the Indian side, former Chief of Army Staff General M.M. Naravan and Dr. Subramanian Swamy, had to pull out just 2 days before the event due to unavoidable commitments. This left the Indian team scrambling for replacements. Despite the incredibly short notice, Sai Deepak, who was already prepared to argue India's case, managed to bring in 2 other speakers from within the UK, Manu Kajuria and Pandit Satish K. Sharma. They were ready to go, ready to defend India's position. Now, this is where the story takes a truly bizarre turn. On the day of the debate, November 27th, at 3:13 p.m., just hours before they were supposed to be on stage, Deepak received a call. The message was that the Pakistani delegation, which included high-profile figures like former Foreign Minister Hina Robani Kar and Defense Minister Khawaja Muhammad Asif, had not yet landed in London. Naturally, hearing this, the Indian team, who were on their way, decided to abandon their journey to Oxford. Why travel all that way for a debate that wasn't going to happen? But then, the plot thickened. A short while later, Deepak claims he received confirmation that the Pakistani delegation had, in fact, landed. Not only had they landed, but they were already checked into a hotel in Oxford. This revelation, as you can imagine, was explosive. This led Deepak to launch a blistering attack on social media. He accused the Pakistani side of deserting the battlefield, even before the battle begins. He suggested they simply lacked the courage to face a live, unscripted debate where they would be challenged on their country's positions. He didn't just stop at criticizing the Pakistani team. He also took aim at the Oxford Union's leadership. He accused them of allowing their prestigious institution to be dragged in muck and essentially becoming a mouthpiece for the Pakistan High Commission. He felt the union had failed in its duty to ensure a fair and organized event. Adding her voice to the chorus of criticism was Shiv Sena, UBT lawmaker Priyanka Chaturvedi. She took 2x to mock the situation, saying, "Pakistan is crying again over an Oxford Union debate. This is for the record. Once again, they have proved to be liars. Expecting any better from them was not even on my list." Her post amplified the Indian narrative that Pakistan had backed out of the debate intentionally. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. How did Pakistan respond to these serious allegations? The Pakistan High Commission in London released its own statement, and it tells a completely different story. Their version of events couldn't be more opposite. They expressed regret that the Indian delegation had withdrawn at the last minute. They pointed to the original high-profile list of Indian Speaker General Naravan, Dr. Swamy, and even Sachin Pilot was mentioned and claimed their withdrawal handed a walkover to the Pakistani side. The statement framed this as the Indian side lacking confidence in its ability to defend India's security policy in what they called a neutral, an intellectually rigorous debate. So, according to Pakistan, it was India that got cold feet, not them. So, who are we to believe? We have two completely contradictory accounts. On one hand, Sai Deepak provides a detailed timeline of events, phone calls, and last-minute changes, accusing the Pakistani side of a calculated no-show. He claims they were in Oxford, but chose not to appear. On the other hand, the Pakistan High Commission officially states that the Indian side withdrew, implying they were the ones who were afraid to debate. The Oxford Union, the very institution that was hosting this, has been caught in the crossfire. An organization famed for its intellectual debates and centuries of history is now facing accusations of mismanagement and even political manipulation. For an institution whose entire reputation is built on facilitating robust and open dialogue, this is a significant blow. The union's statement on the matter has been eagerly awaited to clear the air, but the damage to its reputation, at least in the eyes of some, has already been done. This incident highlights the intense and often fraught nature of India-Pakistan relations, where even an academic debate can turn into a major diplomatic incident. Every interaction is scrutinized, and trust is in short supply. The motion itself was controversial, touching upon sensitive issues of national security and political strategy. It was always going to be a heated discussion, but no one expected the debate to collapse before a single word was spoken on stage. The core of the dispute seems to be a communication breakdown, whether accidental or intentional. Was the Indian team misinformed about the Pakistani team's travel plans? Or was the Pakistani team genuinely delayed, and the subsequent messaging was just a face-saving exercise? Or, as Deepak alleges, was this a deliberate ploy by the Pakistani side to create chaos and avoid the debate altogether, while framing it as an Indian withdrawal? The truth likely lies somewhere in the tangled mess of calls, emails, and official statements. But the public perception is now shaped by these two powerful, competing narratives. On one side, you have the image of a courageous Indian team, ready to debate despite last-minute changes, being let down by a Pakistani side that fled the battlefield. On the other, you have the image of a confident Pakistani team arriving in Oxford, ready to argue their case, only to be met with an empty opposition bench. This whole episode serves as a powerful reminder of how public relations and information warfare are just as much a part of the India-Pakistan dynamic as traditional diplomacy. Both sides immediately tried to control the narrative, using social media and official channels to present their version of events as the absolute truth. And in the court of public opinion, the first and loudest voice often wins. What do you think really happened here? Was this a case of logistical failure, a clever political maneuver, or something else entirely? It's a fascinating, and frankly, a bit of a messy situation that shows how even the halls of academia are not immune to the geopolitical rivalries that define our world. This wasn't just a cancelled debate. It was a microcosm of the larger India-Pakistan conflict, played out on a global stage. The fallout from this will likely continue, and it will be interesting to see if the Oxford Union can recover its standing after being embroiled in such a public controversy. That's all the time we have for today. This story is still developing, and we'll be sure to keep you updated. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that matter. See you next time.